Hey guys, and welcome back to another movie review-ish. And in this one, I'm just a little sick, but I wanted to put something out for you guys anyway, so I hope you still enjoy. And like I said in the last review, I'm gonna start doing more scary or horror movies, just dark movies in general, because you guys seem to like them. So I decided to continue with The House, which I believe is a Netflix original that just came out in January of 2022. And I just love the art style, so why not just go over it? Once again, there will be spoilers for the whole thing, so if you haven't seen it, go out it and watch it on Netflix. I know everybody's got Netflix. Also, I'm not a good movie reviewer, obviously. I just like to watch them and talk about them with you guys, so I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, to start off with, this movie's made in kind of a weird way. It's called stop motion, which just happens to be my favorite type of movie making. Stop motion is, when you take a picture of something and then you move it just a little bit, like its arm, and then you take another picture of it. It's that sort of thing. And ever since I was a little kid, I just love this style. From Wallace to Gromit to Fantastic Mr. Fox, I've just always enjoyed it. So now that you know what type of style, you probably realize that stop motion movies are normally made for kids or young adults. And that's what grabbed my attention because the movie claimed to be different, sort of dark or mysterious. So I was excited to watch and was ultimately let down a bit. Now this movie's not really made for everyone. You see, if you're looking for a movie with a clean beginning and end, you won't find it here. I would say this movie is more for people who like to look into movies and see what the bigger picture is. I mean, I love doing this sometimes, but most of the time I just want to enjoy the movie. Now before I get ahead of myself, let me just explain how the movie goes, I guess. So the movie is split up into 3 different sections, or parts if you will, and they each tell a different story, but they're all revolved around this one house. Hence the name of the movie. Okay, so in the first story, there's a family that is pretty poor until some guy comes and says that he's gonna build them a house. And of course, they accept. And then they end up going crazy. And then in the end, the parents turn into furniture. And that's how it ends. Now, why do they turn into furniture? I'll try to explain it a bit. Now for the second story, it's about this little rat that is a little anxious guy who's trying to sell a house. But he's having a bug problem and it's just getting all crazy and he goes all crazy. And in the end of the story, he lives in the house like a rat in the walls with big bugs, and this is sort of a weird one and not my favorite one out of the 3, but it's not that bad. And the third one is about this house that this cat owns, but the whole world is flooded, and she has 2 tenants, but none of them can pay rent because duh. The world is flooded, so they all want to leave her, and they do, but then she wants to leave as well, so she does. It's a pretty nice ending that I believe has a lot of meaning behind it. So obviously these stories have a deeper meaning, and I think I've done enough thinking in my head to really figure them out if you haven't yet. So the first story I believe has to do with not being greedy. Now I know that one's probably pretty easy, but it's a super strong message to have. I mean, the parents of the children end up dying for their greed. And that's pretty fucked up, but that's why you just take what you're given, like the little girl said in the beginning.
I hate this house. I hate it. I wish we'd never left our home.
Now the second story is, I guess, what you would call a sob story. So the rat obviously has uninvited guests, being the bugs, and he's trying to get rid of them, but he can't. And that could be because they're connected to the house, or they're just in his head. You see, no one ever mentions the bugs when they come over, and he seems to be the only one that can see them. They even have this little dance number at the end, but anyways. Now I think he sees all these bugs in his head because he has a lot of self-doubt. And instead of just putting himself down, maybe making himself see something wrong in the house is a way for him to blame it on something that he can't control. Because the reason people don't want to buy the house isn't because there's something wrong with it. Maybe he's just a bad salesman. Or maybe there's no deeper meaning, it's a play on the fact that bugs and rats are just nasty and all, but I like to think the latter. Now the final story is actually a bit sadder and I believe deals with grief, which I think is represented well in this film, and if you are having trouble with it yourself, you may pick up on something. So this story is the one with the cats that are stuck in the house because the world has flooded. And the owner is this cat woman, I'll call her Rosa, who got this house from her parents who seem to have died either during or before the flood. And to me, she's still trying to keep up this house because it was her parents. And she feels responsible for it to an almost unhealthy way. Because soon all the running water turns brown and all this time, the water is still rising. But she keeps trying to fix the house up because she can't let go of it. Even if she dies with it, she will be happy. But as time goes on, she begins to realize that the house has outgrown its welcome. and she needs to move on and leave all the burdens of her family behind. And in the end, she does. She knows she wants to be free to sell the world and to not be controlled by this house and all of its shortcomings. And I just really ended up loving this last story the most. Now yes, some of these things can be more subtle than others, but if you have a keen eye, you'll spot it. And that's going to do it for this little review that I've planned. I know it really wasn't a horror movie, but it was more of a darker tone. Plus I love stop motion, so I just had to do it. And I know this movie isn't for everyone, like I said at the beginning, but I still think you should watch it if not for the art style alone. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed. Be sure to leave a comment down below of a movie you want me to review, and I'm sure I'll get to it. But until then, peace.